Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a great day today. We had a pretty good day in chat. A lot of good trades called out, a lot of action, and just a fun day all around. Had one trade today on STX, which I'm going to recap for you. But seems like, I'm finding one trade, one shot, one kill. That's 2 days in a row. Maybe tomorrow I'll get one trade that will pay the bills, and I can be real selective with the rest of the day. So I'm pretty happy with what happened today. I had two tickers on watch, STX and DDD. Like STX the best. I think it gave me the biggest opportunity and the most opportunity for profit. So I kind of focused on STX. Still was watching DDD. The one that set up first would be the one that I was going to take, pretty much. But just to go over what I was looking at pre-market, when it first hit my scan, it was somewhere in here, and I kind of like the fact that it was making these strong moves. I like to see these big moves and some good volume pre-market, because that's going to tell me that in the first 15 to 30 minutes of the market open, this ticker is going to be volatile, and I've got a chance for it making a decent move. So I'm watching this. It faded down. It did try to recover. Couldn't push the 9 here. So I'm looking at this level here, 3042, as being significant. And then it faded all the way back down. As I'm watching it into the open, this 2923 level seemed to hold. So the last candle that printed before the open, it failed the 9 moving average. I mean, it opened here, but it failed to push it. It went above it, but then closed right on it. This candle opened. It opened right on the VWAP and the 9 moving average. It popped up here for a quick second, and then it started to sell back off. I noticed the VWAP just make a nice, move to the downside. And normally when that happens, this is going to set up nicely for a VWAP fade or, the 5-minute opening range breakdown. So I'm looking at this level here, this 29.23. It sold off and then came back and, closed pretty much right on this level, right above this level at 29.25. So the next candle for me was going to determine, what I was going to do with this trade. So it opened right at the same level this thing closed, and it started to sell off. So I wanted to get in it. I knew I needed to try to get in it a little early because it was on SSR. And this is the candle that I was trying to get in on. However, being on SSR, at my first order was out at 29.15, and it had a whole bunch of prints go through, green prints at 29.15, but nothing on my order got hit. And then I saw it ran up 17, 18, and then I put some out at 20, because if I got hit at 20, I've got all of this protection right here that I would hope would prevent it from running away from me to where it would crush my day if it did turn around and take off. So I missed the first wave of 20 orders. It dipped down a little bit and it came back up, and it took out my whole size. I was preparing myself to only get partially filled or maybe halfway filled, but this thing came up and fill my whole 2,000 share position. I think one order went through for 1,100 shares, and then I had a 200 share one that would go through, and then the rest were 100 shares. So it filled my whole 2,000 share order, which I was pretty pumped about. And got a decent move down. This next candle opened at 29, and just sold off some more. Well, I was getting kind of antsy and itchy, so again I covered a little bit too early. I covered halfway between these two because when I took this trade, one of my profit targets was going to be 28.51. This wasn't my ultimate target, but it was a primary target for me to take profit. But somehow I clicked it halfway between, and I took some profit here. Usually I break these trades up into 500 share lots, and I took 500 off here. And as the trade was working, I waited till it hit the 28.50s, which was one of my primary profit targets. So I did hit that. It ended up losing this level, 28.51, and my next target was going to be the 28 teens, because this level was at 28.14. So I went ahead and took some profit off here. Right at this level, right under it, because it washed pretty quick. So I was able to get out there, and because those were 3 holes, I only had 500 shares left. This was my ultimate profit target here. So being out and having booked all of this profit, and having a plan to protect the last 500 shares I had, it gave me the ability to be patient and wait until I got my hit at this level. And that's what it did. Now, yeah, I was getting itchy and antsy around this level here when it got into the 50s, and it was kind of hanging up. It was getting a little bit more difficult to hold, and that's just human nature. And it's gonna happen. So I just kept reading out my trade plan to myself, just trying to take my mind off of it. And when it hit 27.35, I started looking to get out, and I actually got out at 27.34 was where I got the last 500 shares. And all of this, I mean, you can see how long it took, but what gives me the patience and what gives me the confidence to stay in these trades? Number one, I'm taking profit along the way. I'm not just holding for one big move. With me, I need to book profits, and that's what I do. The other thing was, I had a real nice entry right against where my stop would be. So, that gave me some confidence. But as I covered, each time I covered, I got a little bit more confidence, to hold for the next leg down. And that's the only thing that really kept me in this trade. Now, and I waited because I was looking for this to set up for a reversal. But this right here pretty much killed that idea, because this is where the reversal would have been a good place to take a reversal if it had held this support, but it didn't. It faded off, and it did come down to 27.35. But by then it was 10:30, and I didn't think this ticker really had enough behind it to actually push it up. And it turns out I was right. It didn't really get that far. It tested this level, pushed off of it, and it came close here, pushed off of it again, then came back and just kind of consolidated around this level. And it tried breaching it, several times all throughout the afternoon session. And then it finally got a little crack, right here around 220. But by then, for me, it was too late to try to get in this trade because I knew about 3:10 or so, I was going to have to leave just like I do every day. So it didn't make sense for me to get in a trade that I knew it was going to take this long, and I might get antsy. I might get, an itchy trigger finger and, make a mistake. So it was pretty, kind of, protecting myself there from getting in a trade that was a little bit too late in the day for me. But you can see it eventually broke down, but it didn't really get down far enough to really get away from anything. So you really, on the break of that, you really didn't make any money or really didn't have an opportunity. But whenever it took this long to get down there, I really wasn't interested anymore, other than just to watch it and see what it does. So that was my STX trade. Just kind of give you an update on some swing trades. I got in HUN yesterday. This was on Jeff's watch list. And again, I'm learning. So, just take what I'm sharing with you with a grain of salt, because, this is stuff that I'm just learning and I'm just trying to implement. But when I looked at this, and this is a study, an ascending triangle study that's built into the Thinkorswim platform. And all I did was, put in for them to search for these patterns. And then see, you've got, right here a flag. Right here is a channel down. And what it does is when it meets these parameters, it puts the patterns on here so that I can see. And right here, this was an ascending triangle pattern that it, put up. And what I'm doing is I'm looking for it to break out over this, the top of this triangle. So we did get a close above it. I did get in, anticipating to move up. And I did get a good move yesterday. Today, not so much. It still closed over 14. It's still holding up. As long as it's continues to hold up, I'll keep it on. But and I'm doing a better job of not trying to manage these trades intraday. I won't look at them until around 2 o'clock or so, and just to see, where we are. And I'll check it at the open to make sure it doesn't gap down, but I won't manage these trades using the intraday chart. It's always on a daily chart. The other one I got in yesterday was RY. This one I said, when I posted this, I said I might be a little late, because this big move had already happened. But I went ahead and got in here. And it did make a good move. 60s, 70s, high 60s, 70s, and 60, 80. That's a level of resistance that this trade has to get through. If it can get through this, then I'm pretty sure I've got a good path to get to my target, which is in the 6260s. So today, this gave me concern when I saw this. It did come up and tap this level and then pull all the way back in. So tomorrow I'm going to be looking to see whether this thing, tries again or whether it fades off. Just tomorrow's going to tell me, at the open, I'm going to look to see if it gapped up or gapped down and just kind of determine my game plan from there. The last one, CPXX, I'm thinking this is probably going to be out of steam, and it's probably going to be time for me to go ahead and take, the last half of my shares off. You can see I got in down here 1071. I did cover some here in the 1360s. I took half of it off here, and I was looking for a pullback, and I almost added, here on this pullback for the move up, and I was looking for it to break over this level that it had put in as a high. It did, pushed up, but this candle's indecision, so right now I'm not sure where it's going to go. I think it gapped down a little bit in the aftermarket trading, but tomorrow morning is going to tell me, whether it's time for me to get out. I'm not liking the volume. It's staying a little steady, but it is kind of tapering off. If this thing is going to make another run up, it's going to have to pick up, some higher than average volume. So that's where I stand on my swing trades. Just trying to get a feel for them and, get a feel for the type patterns that, are going to pay the best dividend. All right, and that's all I have for tonight. I hope everybody has a great evening, a great night, and have a great day tomorrow in chat. And for those of you that are in chat, I will see you there bright and early in the morning.